Yesterday, EA released a press release with details on their preliminary results on their third quarter. These details mainly go over the results of how well Dragon Age The Veilguard did, as well as their soccer game EA Sports FC 25. In this video, I want to follow up on what I said in my previous video on Dragon Age and give my insights as a game developer and an industry insider. Salam, my name is Mustafa. I am the solo developer of Suburb Path. In the past, I've worked at Treyarch during the development of Black Ops 4. I've also worked at Zwift on their indoor cycling game. Right now, I am currently solo developing a first-person stealth horror game that has a focus on puzzle elements, coming soon on Steam. So at the beginning of November, I released a video with my thoughts on why Dragon Age was going to not perform well with the customers. A quick recap. So I had two main points in this video. My first point was that the gameplay looked like it was trying to please everybody. It wasn't niching down enough as far as being an RPG. It looked too similar to third-person action games like God of War. My second point was that the ideology that was being showcased in the game was too polarizing. It was very apparent that the trans ideology was going to be a large part of the game, especially with what the director of the game was saying about how all the characters are pansexual, as well as the chest scars being a thing in the character creator. And also at that point when I released my video, everybody saw the clip about pulling a barv. I didn't play it the first time, and I don't need to replay it to remind you guys, because I'm sure all of you have seen that same video clip so many times. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing that it's even in any form of media. And with that said, with those 2 points I made, it should be the opposite. Due to it being an RPG, they should have niched down with the RPG gameplay mechanics, making it more appealing for RPG fans. The themes of the game should be more universal, themes that anyone can connect with. Themes such as loss, overcoming the odds, redemption, justice, personal growth. These are themes that anyone can connect with. And those are my two main points of my previous video. And let's go over the results of this press release. Okay, so the main thing that everyone is pointing out with this press release is this part right here, that Dragon Age engaged approximately 1.5 million players during the quarter. So the wording is very specific here. It doesn't say 1.5 million units sold. It specifically says engaged 1.5 million players. That means this is the amount of people who played the game. It's not the amount of people who bought the game. There was reports of mass numbers of people refunding the game on Steam, because Steam has a policy that allows customers to return a game within 2 hours of gameplay, no questions asked. Another thing to keep in mind, aside from people returning the game, this game is part of the EA Play subscription, which is $6 a month. People can subscribe to this monthly subscription and then cancel the subscription before the second month and therefore play as much as the game as possible within 1 month for only $6 plus tax. So an accumulation of all these players, including the people who returned the game, including the people who played off of the subscription, all these players comes up to 1.5 million. This is not the amount sold. They also mentioned that this is 50% lower than what they were expecting within the first quarter. So let's take a look at the stock real quick. Now, this is right before the press release, and after the press release, it tanked over 16%. Now, if we zoom out even further, we look and we include the month in which Dragon Age came out, you can see the stock actually went up. And this is likely due to the fact that EA specifically had only positive reviews of this game at launch. They were extremely selective with who they allowed to get a pre-release copy of the game, and only wanted to have people who they knew would not criticize the game or say anything negative about the game. So this is likely why their stock went up during this period. And then it tanked after this press release. This is a huge deal. Not only did what I say in my previous video hold true to how the game was, like, I was able to come up with this analysis without even playing the game because it is very apparent. There was a small number of people who are angry with me in my comments section, and they're saying, you don't know what the game's going to be like until you play it. Look, I've been playing games since I was a little kid. A lot of these games are very straightforward when you watch gameplay videos of these games. It's very apparent when I look at the gameplay, it looks very similar to games like God of War. But even though I was right on those two aspects, I didn't anticipate how bad everything else was going to be. I didn't expect how terrible the dialogue was going to be. There's so many clips online of dialogue that is similar to MCU, or clips of the companions arguing with each other as if they're little children, like it's an episode of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood or something. Then the player's character, Rook, has to tell them to play nice and get along with each other. Hey, you like this thing? And you like this thing too? You guys should make up and be friends. That's how you talk to toddlers. How did we even get to this point in which a AAA studio releases a game with terrible dialogue, unlikable characters, a forgettable story, an RPG with limited outcomes, unlike previous BioWare games, which allow you to play as lawful good or chaotic evil or something in the between. This game only wants you to be good. On top of all that, a huge push for the trans ideology throughout the game, especially with their character Tosh, in which she only talks about that. And this is an increasingly unpopular ideology amongst society. So how did we get to this point? It's through bad management. The management's goal was not to make a good RPG. The management's goal was not to make a game for Dragon Age fans and bring them back to the world of Dragon Age. Unfortunately, management is going to be hurt the least from all this. There's a huge chance that BioWare Edmonton is going to be shut down. And it's very unfortunate for all the people who are actually trying to do a good job with the game. At the very least, graphically, this looks pretty good, especially with some of the lighting that was done with the game. So there are some people with skills that were working on the game. Unfortunately, the people with skills were not an upper management. And the reason why I say that management is going to be hurt the least is because one thing I learned being in the game industry is that the leadership at these studios, they're all buddies with each other. Many of you already know the director left the studio last week. And what most likely happened is that somebody went to the director and said, you can either leave on your own terms or you're going to be let go. And so the director left willingly. Because the leadership for all these studios, they're all buddies with each other, they end up just going to a different studio. They end up transitioning from one studio to another pretty quickly and pretty easily with minimal time off. Unlike everyone else who's on the ground level, all these people who are working hard, trying to utilize their skills to have a career in the game industry, they're going to have a hard time finding a job somewhere else, especially with how limited it is with the job openings in the game industry at the moment. So the incompetence that led to this failure is going to spread their incompetence somewhere else. And to me, that's the biggest tragedy of this all. Everyone else feels the repercussions of the poor management. If you're new to this channel, again, I've been in the game industry for a while, and right now I'm a solo game developer trying to build my brand. Yes, I do cover trending topics. Quite frankly, that's how you build an audience. That's the game with YouTube. I try to add insight that is more thoughtful than what a lot of these other people are doing. So if you got this far, I really appreciate if you hit the like button and leave a comment letting me know you got this far in the video. If you disagree with anything I say, I'm fine with us having a discussion in the comments section. I understand that a lot of other people are saying, yeah, the woke are losing. Yeah, more layoffs. Yeah, go woke, go broke. And That's not me. This is not what you're gonna find on this channel. I try to share opinions that are a bit more thoughtful and a bit more analytical than that. Also, as someone who's experienced a layoff, I try to be more empathetical to those who have nothing to do with the choices that led to the failure of the studio. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Salam.